Hi guys, I just wanted to give you a quick tutorial on how to motion track in boujou and then uh, import that tracking data into After Effects. So for you that don't know what boujou is, it's actually a tracking program. You can use it's a 3D tracking program like PF Track. I know there's a free program called Voodoo, and it gives you the ability to do very accurate 3D motion tracking. I'm actually just doing some particle simulation, physics and stuff in Cinema 4D right now. Just making this Lamborghini explodes. But I'm going to show you how to motion track in boujou. So first thing you do is just open up boujou here. You can also motion track in like After Effects itself, but this is a lot more advanced. So you just gotta import your footage. I just have mine on my desktop. And I'm just gonna import it. So the most important thing here is to always check your frame rate. So I'm on 25 frames per second. And free move is when you're actually moving in 3D space, and nodal pan is when you're in a tripod and not actually moving in 3D space. So I'm just going to click OK. So I here have my footage, just footage of it's just footage of me filming in my room, so you can just see, just use this to do a test. So first thing I'm going to do, very simple. First thing I zoom in the shot, so I'm just going to go into focal length and change that from constant to varying. Constant is full shot with no zoom. So now I'm just going to go into feature tracking and start. So now what it's going to do is basically just take a bunch of points all around the room and use these points to follow the motion and track motion. So for you that don't know what motion tracking is, it basically permits you to put elements into a scene, like any elements, like solid 3D elements, and to actually give the impression that they're in that scene and they're sticking to the scene while the camera's panning around. So if you want, for example, to like add a 3D element into a scene and the camera's panning, and you don't motion track, well, it's not going to look very realistic. So I'm just going to wait for it to finish here. And there. So now you can see throughout the shot the programs with loads of points. And now what we're going to do, we're going to click on camera solve. Now if you don't have these options, be careful you're in task and not in toolbox mode. So, and we're going to optimize path smoothness, and this is going to camera solve. And that's it. So you see it's kept the most accurate points, and you can actually see right now, you can really see those points are sticking to the scene. So there. So once you've done this, you're just going to check your frame rate again, just in case. It's always 25 when you actually have your frame rate, which is 25. It stays at 25. But be careful if you've got like 23.976 or like 50 frames. It usually jumps back to 25. I don't know why. So always check your frame rate after you import, before you export. So I'm just going to click export camera solve. We're just going to take this into After Effects, so .ma, turn down the scale to 1000, and I'm just gonna computer, desktop, save, and I'm just gonna save that. So you can see here it's just saving it there. So now I'm just gonna close this, and you can see I've got my here. This is the file. So I'm just gonna take this and drag it into After Effects. And I'm also going to take my footage, which is right here. There. So, now that I'm at After Effects, I'm just going to open this Untitled project. And the first thing you see is just this bunch of little points here. So you've got all these points there, voila. Now you're just going to import your footage there. And drag it onto here. Now if you did the right thing, if you follow the instructions, the points should give the impression that they're actually sticking to the scene. Now the only way you make an element stick to the scene is actually by making it 3D. Now if you use the built-in After Effects tracking, you might be used to a different method, which is parenting it to the null layer, where you apply the motion track. Well, here you just have to, if you toggle switches in mode, toggle this switch here, which is a 3D switch, and this actually enables you to track an object into the scene. So I'm just gonna test this. I'm just gonna hit Command Y, make a new solids, and make it 3D. That's how it's here. I'm just gonna rotate it. So you get like a, you might actually stick it onto the door or something. Well, it's not really important. Anyway, and if you just go forward now, you can actually see that solids gives the impression that it's sticking to the scene, and even when you zoom in, that element looks like it's, like part of the scene. Then you can also do more advanced stuff, like probably rotate this and make it seem like it's sticking to the door or something. It's just, you can pretty much do anything with this method, and it's very useful to just, you can really just play around with this. So I just feather this. There, so you can just give the impression there's something there on the door or whatever it is. So this is how to export camera tracking data from Boujou to After Effects. Thanks very much for watching. Be sure to subscribe. It's got some new videos coming soon, new tutorials, new tests, etc.